I'm Megan, and thanks for being here with me. This practice is going to start standing, so get yourself up, and we will need 2 blocks and a strap if you have those. And it's going to focus on the legs, but specifically, this is inspired by an article that I read about how rapidly we lose strength and balance once we hit our 50s. It just so happens I have another birthday in my 50s coming up tomorrow. So these are really important things I recognize in my practices is to address each side of the body separately. That a lot of times one side of the body, the muscles are overworked and we could say they're strong, but they're also chronically tight. And the other side is kind of lax, taking a long vacation. So I like to challenge myself to working one leg at a time. And the other thing, as I mentioned, is this automatically brings in balance, which balance is great as we age, not only for the idea that we don't want to fall and we want that proprioception of feeling where we are, but also because when we put all of our weight into one leg, it actually helps to strengthen the bones because we have to remember our bones are living tissue. So take a moment, come to your standing position and feel yourself through your feet. If you want to just gently roll from the inner edges and outer edges of your feet, you can do that. You can lift your toes and play them like little piano keys, but feel your feet. I'll have a little bit of a challenge because I'll be doing the balance on my mat with a carpet underneath, so you'll find it's more of a challenge to balance if you do have a carpeted floor, and that's okay. Be playful. So one of the things that I often saw in yoga classes, as soon as I would call out a balance pose on one leg, people would get these really tight faces and very serious looking. So I'm going to encourage you today to keep smiling, be playful, even as we go through some balance. So taking a moment, place your hands at your heart center. You can just place them on there, whatever age you are. Invite yourself fully into the grace of your body. Grace of the body being we accept where we are today, who we are today, whatever it is we're feeling. Starting from that space of grace. All right. And then drop your hands down. We'll begin just by moving one leg at a time. Step your left foot slightly forward, come onto the ball of the left foot, and just begin to make some circles. So you'll be circling your ankle, your knee, and your hip. And notice as we do this, the weight transfer into the right leg, and the left leg is getting a nice little mobility game, and the right leg is strong and still. And you can go both directions. And then take that left foot down, let your weight transfer over into the left foot, take your right foot slightly forward, and the same thing with the right leg. Just feel how you can roll your ankle, your knee, your hip. So we want that balance between mobility and stability. You can switch the direction. And then step that right foot back. And then taking just a moment, I'll turn sideways so you can see me. You can place your hands at your waist or at your sides. Let your weight transfer fully into your left foot, and we're just going to do a little march. So weight goes into the left foot, and see if you can bring your right leg up, even if it just barely comes off the floor. What we're looking for is a 90-degree angle. If it doesn't want to go that far, that's okay. And then take it back down. And if you want to do this to your breath, switch your weight to the right foot. As you inhale, lift the left leg. Exhale, slowly take it down. You'll find that you'll balance probably a little better if you keep your feet about as wide as your hips. And if you're really good with your balance today, you can try doing this with your eyes closed or just changing your gazing point. But feeling that presence of all of the weight transferring into one hip, one leg. Notice how your muscles will respond to balance you. And do they feel the same? Nice and easy, just marching in place. Next time you find yourself with your weight in your right foot and your left leg lifted, just pause for a moment. If you want, you can play with your toes. If you want to be even more playful and challenge your balance, you could bend in and out of your knee. And just like we circled the hip earlier, you might try playing with some hip circles. And it's okay if that foot has to go down. Do your best to stay steady on your right leg, whatever it is you're moving. Let that left leg swim and let the right leg steady you. And then take the left leg down. Pause for a moment. Let the weight shift into the left leg. Bring that right leg up to 90 degrees. Give yourself a moment to feel the stability through the left leg. And you can move your right toes or your ankle. You could bend in and out of your knee. Feel those big, strong quadricep muscles taking your leg out. You could move from your hip. Just be playful and feel how your body is communicating all the way from the toes of the brain to keep you in balance. Switching the direction of the circles. And then take that foot down. Okay, we're going to get a little bit deeper into some strength building, one leg at a time. So I'm going to ask you to grab your blocks. And take your blocks and just put them to the front of your mat. And we'll want to warm up the back side a little bit first. So taking your arms to your sides. As you exhale, come into a seated position like you're doing a chair pose in yoga. So you can exhale, sit down, feel both legs equally. And inhale, press into the heels and draw up. Exhale, sit as deep as you can. And I'm just going to slide my hands down my thighs. Inhale, lift back up. So now we're working both legs symmetrically just for a moment. But notice what it feels like to use both legs into this knee bend at the same time. You might feel your weight go from the heels more into the balls of the feet as you sink your butt. A lot of stability here with both feet down. But sense the way your knee's bending. And as you come down, you might feel the muscles more in the front of your legs. As you come up, push into your heels and feel your hamstrings and your glutes in the back side of your body, helping to lift you. Next time you come down into the bend, we're going to pause there. Hands could come at the heart center. Or you could take them up like a chair pose. We're just going to take a few breaths here. Your call on the hands. Feel how strong both legs are. And here in this pose, you may even sense that one side is working more than the other. Even close your eyes. Does it feel like one side of the muscles are stronger or tighter than the other? And can you maybe just shift your weight in your feet to make it equal? It's almost a self-assessment here. And slide your hands down your thighs. Begin to slowly lift the hips up and back and find those blocks. So take your hands on the blocks. You can keep a bend in your knees. You want to open up the back of the body. And now push your hands into the blocks. And as you inhale, lift your hips up and back. Feel the back line of the legs stretching. And you want your blocks far enough forward so your spine is long. So we don't want them way back here. We don't want them way out here. Shoulders should be right over the wrists. Exhale, bend the knees again. Inhale, push hands into the blocks like you're in a plank pose. Lift your tail up and take your inner thighs back. Exhale, drop. So a little stretching here too. Inhale, push, lift and lengthen. Tail to the back of the mat, crown of the head to the front. Exhale, sit. Gravity will help you on the exhale. Inhale is that levity, lifting up and out. Sink as far as you'd like. We're opening up the ankles too. Taking the ankles into a nice deep dorsiflexion. And then pushing one more time. This time pause when you're in the extension. Stretching long. If your knees still have a bend in them, that's just fine. Use your arms too, pushing into the hands. And now you're going to take your weight again into the right foot. I'm going to turn the opposite way for you. You're going to keep the weight into the right foot. With the hands on the blocks, begin to lift the left leg. And as you inhale, extend the left leg out. As you exhale, draw the left leg into your body as tight as you can comfortably. Inhale, extension. And exhale, flexion of the leg. You might even think about extending your left toes. You can lift it as high as you want. And exhale, draw everything in towards your navel center. Spine is long. So once again, we're getting some mobility in the left leg, a little bit of stability in the right leg, bones getting strong. One of the things you want to watch too is that you're not way forward with your weight. You want to keep your right hip back over the ankle. I often see the hip forward here. And your heel should be grounded. And next time you find that extension in the left leg on an inhale, pause and hold for just a few moments. Push your hands into the blocks to keep you strong. Feel how you're balancing on that right leg. If it's anything like me, you're going to feel those little glutes on your outer right hip. If you don't feel that, it might be because you're lifting that left leg up and externally rotating it. So turn all 5 toes down towards the ground. Lift the inner thigh of the left leg. Okay, that's a good hold, right? Drop it down. Take a moment, bend your knees. Inhale, come up. And now we're just going to pause. Pause to feel. Feel the 2 sides of the body. Do your 2 legs feel different? Does one feel like you had weight in it? The left leg was moving, the right leg was still. And let's do that again. So as you exhale, sit yourself down into your chair, slide your hands down. As you inhale, take your hands to the blocks, lift your tail up and out, thigh bones back, inner thighs back. So you were creating that stability in both legs first, but then it's going to be just the left leg this time. Also using the upper body, I'm not going to collapse into the arms, I'm going to push into the blocks. If your wrists don't like that, you can also make a fist. But we want to try to keep the base of the skull at the height of the sacrum so the spine is long and neutral. Keep that left leg strong, little weight into the heel, little weight into the ball of the foot. Then lift up your right leg. Inhale, extend the right leg. Exhale, squeeze it in. Inhale into extension. And exhale, draw it in. So right now we still got our hands down, so we're not fully balancing. It's like a tripod action here. But you're getting familiar with what it feels like to let the majority of your weight go into your left leg. And moving the mobility of the right leg. Squeezing it in and extending it out. Trying to move from just the hip crease, the knee and the ankle, the torso and the pelvis stays stable. Spine stays stable. Next time you're in the extension, pause. Reach through the crown of the head, forward, tailbone back. Check to see, you can even look back there, are all 5 toes pointing down for you. Might start to feel those little glutes in that left hip now. And sometimes that's one of those sticky spots where many of us have one side stronger, one side tighter, one side likes to sleep. And then take that down. Relax the foot down. Take a soft bend in the knees. Come back up to standing. Pausing for a moment, feel both of your legs. We're going to come off our hands. I'm going to turn towards you. You're always welcome to use your blocks, kind of like a safety catch. You can put them out in front of you, but we're going to work a little bit more with balance now without the hands down. This is the no hands portion. So first, just let yourself sway back and forth so you feel when your pelvis goes over one leg, how far do you have to go to really feel in balance? You can close your eyes and do that. What parts of your feet should be touching the earth? And start to find yourself standing on your right leg. Once you find yourself standing in the right leg, we had done that march earlier, come back into the march in the left leg, so 90-degree angle in the left leg. And then we're going to add on to this. So we're going to do this movement into the extension we just did. So as you exhale, you're going to take the left leg behind you. If you want to just stop here, you can do that. If you want to use your blocks, you can come all the way down. I'm actually going to turn sideways for you, so as not to kick the fireplace. So it's coming into standing, weights in the right foot. As you inhale, reach out. And as you exhale, come back. And if that left foot wants to come down, that's okay. That's not like there's fire-breathing dragons down there, right? Maybe just a puddle. And then extend out. And if you want, you can come to 90 degrees. You can even go beyond that And really use those hip flexors and draw the left leg all the way up. Inhale into extension. Be playful. If you're rocking around and using your arms to balance, that's all good. Check that right leg. We want to stay sturdy, so draw the right thigh bone back without locking the knee. What happens is if we lock the right knee, then we have to balance from up here. So think of your right knee as kind of buoyant, right? It wants to be able to bounce a little bit of play in it. Taking your time, just exploring. Does your right leg feel strong? Is that left leg able to move back and forth? And do one more. This time draw it up into that deep hold. So hip flexors strong. We're going to pause there just for a moment. Get it as high as you can. And we're going to pause in a tree pose. So most people I see will put their leg up here, their foot up on their upper thigh. What I would prefer you not do is on your inner knee. So you're either going to go to your low leg or up above. But my rule is I usually try not to use my hands to place the leg, because then I know it's my muscular strength bringing it there. And just pause in your tree pose. Feel yourself through the stability of your right leg, gently pressing the edge of the left foot into your right leg. Most of us balance better on one side than the other, so see how that feels. You can even sense that you might be rolling from the arch of the foot onto the pinky toe side on that right leg. A lot has to do with the surface underneath you. All right, and before we pull out of this one, we're going to do one more movement, staying on that right leg. So we're strengthening the right muscles, but also the bones. Come back into the 90 degrees. Two options here. If you just want to hold on to the knee, you can take left hand to left knee. If you want to get a deeper stretch and your hamstrings are open, you can grab your big toe or the little toe side of the foot. Just give yourself a try at extending it, even if the knee's still bent. Wherever you want to go with that. So you can extend it up. I love the carpet challenge, by the way, especially in video. Up and out. Doesn't have to be perfect or look pretty. Just feel yourself. If you want to take it out to the side, anywhere else, and take that down. So you might feel a little fatigue in your right hip again, your right leg, maybe even all the way down to your foot. Just rock it out for a moment. How did that feel to be strong in your right leg? And allowing yourself to just feel your weight shift from left to right. Maybe you feel it in your feet. You might feel your pelvis. Keep the ears over the shoulders. Maybe slightly slide the base of the skull back so your throat is open, your jaw is soft, your neck has the natural curve in it. And then next time, let the weight transfer into the left foot. Toes are soft. Feel your heel in the ball of the foot. Bring the right leg up to 90 degrees. And with this movement, front and back, you do have your blocks there. If you'd like to use them, there's no shame at all, but be playful. So here's our exhale from the front. And as you inhale, take that right leg back, keeping the left knee soft and buoyant. Extension as you breathe in. And flexion as you breathe out. So nice back and forth. Wherever your arms want to dance, maybe they're helping you balance, but feel it from your core center. You can bring that right thigh all the way up, feeling that stretch through your left leg, the engagement through the right leg. Just like a teeter-totter. As the shoulders drop, the right leg lifts, and vice versa. Always have the blocks there you can use. Maybe taking one more. And then next time you find that right leg up, squeeze it up for a moment. Feel how strong those right hip flexors are. Draw your left thigh up and into your hip. And we'll go into our tree pose. So if you can get the foot on the upper thigh without the help of the hands, do that. I'd avoid the inner knee. Try the inner calf. Notice how nicely the arch of the right foot fits into the calf muscle. And then gently press the foot into the calf and the calf into the foot, and you'll engage the inner thighs. You'll get those adductor muscles wherever you want your hands. Enjoy your tree. Challenge in the tree could be moving your arms or closing your eyes. And then we're going to take that into that last position. Lift the leg up, and you might just take your right hand to your right knee. So we're still balancing on that left leg, strengthening the bones as well as the muscles. You could take it out to the side, or if you'd like, take your peace fingers to your big toe. That's option one. Or a hand to the outer foot. Maybe just staying there. Play with it. Or you can go for the extension. Some days it happens, and some days it doesn't. Lift up in your standing leg. Think of all of that yummy strength you're offering to your bones in your left leg, putting all your weight of your body into the left leg, and slowly let it down. Beautiful. Pause again. Let your weight shift back and forth. Enjoy the feeling of the stability that being on both legs and feet allows you. And we've got one more standing. And this one we're going to do, I do quite often specifically for strengthening, and it's asymmetrical strengthening. So I know that I have one side of my body that's a lot stronger. So that side I do for a shorter amount of time, and the weaker side I do for a longer amount of time. But just a simple deep knee bend. So I'll show it from the side and from the front. As you breathe out, sit down into your chair. Sit as deep as you can. Slide your hands down. As you inhale, take your hands to the blocks. Lift your hips up and back. So we've been in this position before. Pausing there for a moment. Start to shift your weight into your right foot. And then we're going to maintain a hip flexion of the left leg. Remember, your arms are part of this too, so you can push your hands in like you're in a plank pose. Feel your upper back engage. Begin to lift the left foot up and squeeze the left thigh as close to your body as you can. Even bring the top of the foot towards your shin so that leg is in flexion. Keep some weight in the right heel. What we don't want is the right heel lifting up, so keep the right heel grounded. As you exhale, bend into the right knee. So we did both knees bending together earlier. Same thing, just one leg. As you exhale, bend the right knee. As you inhale, push into the blocks. Lift your right thigh up and back. Keep that left leg drawn in. Exhale, bend into the knee. So sometimes I go more into the left brain, and I'll even count these and make sure that I do twice as many on my weak side. It's definitely more left brainer stuff. But just feel how that right leg is responding. Can you keep your left leg up there and strong? Single knee bends. Keep that ability to lengthen through the spine. It's great ankle mobility as well. Maybe one more, or you can even hold that bend for a few breaths. Take the left foot down. Lengthen out for both legs. We're going to switch right to the other side, so I can show it from the front too for a moment. But I think you're getting the idea. Shift the weight into, actually we'll do this side. Shift the weight into the left side this time. Feel your weight in the left foot. Long spine. Draw your right leg in. Squeeze the thigh. It's like you have Velcro between your ribs and the top of your right thigh. Squeeze it in as tight as you can. Draw the right foot towards the shin. Exhale into the left knee. Inhale, extend up. So think of lifting your left thigh bone up and back. Opening the back of the knee. Exhale, bend. And it's nice, slow, gradual, smooth movement in and out. A little stretch for the Achilles tendon in that left ankle. I often forget and let my right leg go, so work on that strength of hip flexion there. counting if you're a counter, or just feeling. You can take it up, maybe pause one more time with that deep knee bend, drawing the right thigh in. What do you feel? Take the right left foot down. Take long extension through both legs. Lift your inner thighs up and back. Draw your shins forward. We're going to slowly come down to the floor. So bend your knees. Feel free to come into a squat if you like that position. I'm going to set the blocks aside, but you're going to want to keep your strap near you. So grab your strap, and we're going to come all the way down onto the floor. So let your body rest. We're going more into it. One more for strengthening, a few down here, and then we're going to go more into a little stretching, relaxing. Pausing, purposefully pausing, letting the back body land and locate. Anything touching the floor, and preferably knees bent with feet touching the floor. So we still have that connection of feet to the earth that we had when we were standing. But now we have the whole supporting crew of the back line of the body, the base of the skull, all supported by the ground. Just feeling yourself, maybe your heart is beating faster. And many are familiar with the bridge pose, which is what we're going to do next, but we're going to take it into more of an asymmetrical movement. So begin to take your arms to your sides. Gently imagine tucking the shoulders underneath you. So your shoulder blades will go towards your spine, and press the backs of the hands into the floor. That's going to create a little bit of stability in the shoulders as well. Your feet should be right about underneath your knees, as wide as your hips. And then as you breathe in, press into both heels and the balls of the feet. Lift your pelvis off the ground. And exhale and come down. So as we did standing, we're going to do it in a symmetrical way. So both legs lifting first before we go into single leg. 2 reasons. First, to find the movement, to feel the flow, what muscles are engaging, but also to assess yourself. Does it feel like one butt cheek is doing a lot more work lifting you than the other? Same goes with the hamstrings. Can you feel one side more than the other? Do you press into your feet differently? Can you really connect by pushing into the heels and the balls of the feet? Exhaling, coming all the way down and landing. Inhaling, pushing and lifting. Belly towards the sky. The back of the neck is long. Let's do one more lift, and this time in the lift we'll pause. Imagine drawing your kneecaps forward, your tops, your thighs up towards the sky. What do you feel in your low back? Are both sides equal, or does one side feel tighter? Same thing with your gluteal muscles and your butt, your hamstrings. Lifting your chest as you breathe in. Maybe hug the inner thighs slightly as you breathe out to get more stability in the legs. And slowly exhale, come down. So that was our test with both legs. Let's switch this out. So I'm going to have you switch your weight into your left leg and cross your right ankle on your thigh. And this in itself is a little hip stretch, so you can pause there for a moment. Maybe push into your right leg. It might even feel good to just rock from the pinky toe, the big toe side of the left foot. Sometimes they get a little more organic. Throw some things in, because I think, yeah, a little stretching would be good right now, right? Just let it rock side to side. And then we'll go from this nice, easy movement pattern to finding stability. So even though it's the left leg that's going to lift us, flex your right foot, draw the top of the foot towards your shin, and hug your inner thighs together, because you'll get a little action in the right leg as well. Arms back to your side, and when you're ready on inhale, push into the heel and the ball of the left foot, and lift up. And exhale. Take it back down. Take your time. something you can look for, and you can almost see it, but don't strain your neck, is are you able to lift the fronts of both hips equally? So sometimes the left hip will be lifting and the right hip's down on the ground. So really work on keeping the pelvis level to the ground, both hips parallel, even if you don't come up as high. And just feel, inhaling and lifting, and exhaling, releasing. So that left leg is the strong one, although your inner right thigh is hugging in. Face is soft. Your tongue can relax in your mouth. And if you are a person that holds neck tension, back off on the shoulders a little bit. Just take your arms to your sides. Let your legs do the work of lifting. And we'll come up this last time and see if you want to challenge yourself to hold for a few breaths. Seeing if your hips are equal. A lot of times that right hip is dipping, so lift it up. Push into your left foot. Take a few nice full breaths in. And complete breaths out. Let the breath in help to lift you and levitate you. Let the breath out gently hug your inner thighs. And bring your foot deeper into the earth for more stability. And exhale. Let it come down. Before we come out of this one, we'll do a little bit of playful movement. So keeping the legs in this position, wherever your arms want to go, just lift the left leg off the ground. So this is also a strengthener for the left leg. And make some circles. Now let the right leg completely relax. Relax the foot. And you'll get a nice stretch through that right outer hip, some of those muscles we may have been using. So the left leg is taking the right leg for a nice little ride, saying thank you. You can go in circles, you can go side to side, you can lift your tail off the ground. Just exploring. Before we completely leave this side, got one more easy stretch we're going to do. So left foot back to the ground. Cross the back of the right thigh right on top of the left. Begin to draw the thighs in towards your body. You can keep your tailbone on the floor or let it lift up, but bring them in until you feel a nice stretch through that outer right hip and thigh, maybe the back of the leg. And then you can stay here. Some people like to even grab opposite hand to foot or the backs of the thighs. My preferred method, because I like to stay grounded through one foot when I do this, is to find where the right leg wants to be, using the left leg to help it find that position. And then keep the right leg there with your hands. Drop the left foot back to the ground and just place the right heel somewhere on the left leg. So that left leg is relaxed, feeling the earth. And the right leg has a nice easy stretch. You can use your hands to modify it by bringing the inner knee closer to your torso or further away. Just enjoy for about 10 rounds of breath. When you're ready to come out, simply slide your right foot back to the ground. A windshield wiper in between. You can take your arms to the sides. As you breathe out, let both knees, legs fall to the left. Breathe in, lift up. Breathe out, letting both legs fall to the right. You might sense a difference in the two sides after doing that stretch in just the right. One leg is internally rotating, the other is externally rotating. Feel the way your feet are going from the pinky toe to the big toe side. We may not notice it now because we don't need that felt sensation to balance, but we certainly did when we were balancing. You can still appreciate that. And back to the center. Realign your feet so that your heels are in line with your hips, and then we'll keep our right foot on the ground this time. Cross the left ankle on the right thigh. Just take a moment to maybe gently encourage that left hip crease to lengthen so you can push the inner left hip crease away from you. Get that little stretch going. And then though the right leg is the workhorse. We also want to feel that inner thigh strength. So flex your left foot towards your calf. So draw the top of the foot towards your calf. Imagine hugging the inner thighs like maybe you had a ball or something between your thighs. Take your hands to your sides. And when you're ready, feel through your right foot. So start this movement not so much from your pelvis, but from the foot. Push into the foot and lift up. And as you breathe out, slowly let yourself come back down to the ground. Inhale, pushing into the ball of the foot. Notice how by starting from the foot, we're activating all the muscles in that right leg line. And exhale, retreating to the ground, nice and easily. Inner thighs are creating that triangle of engaged energy. Might be sensing the stretch in the outer left hip. But can you feel your hips lifting together? So watch that that left hip isn't below the right hip when you're lifting, keeping them equal. You can even place your hands there to feel. Lifting both sides of the pelvis simultaneously. And you may feel that one side it was easier to do this on than the other. So that's the way we bring balance back when we find those asymmetries, those imbalances, is to do a couple extra ones, as many extras as you'd like, on what feels like the weaker side. So we reprogram. We want to bring more strength into the weaker side and at the same time stretch out that side that's doing all the work. And then we'll come into our final hold. You may just barely be lifting wherever you want to hold it up. Lifting both hips equally. Hugging the inner thighs, so left leg active as well. And do you feel it mostly in your glutes, your hamstrings? Where do you feel the pressure between your right foot and the ground? Breathe in and out. Breath in helps to elevate you and lift you. Breath out is that hugging into the center and gently pushing the floor into the ground, the foot into the ground. Two more rounds of breath. Stay strong. And exhale. Release the low back. You can keep that position, but relax the left leg, the foot, the inner thigh. Think about maybe lifting your right leg off the ground and just making little circles. If it feels good, make the circles bigger. And you'll sense that you're getting a nice stretch in the outer left hip and thigh, while the right leg is strong. It's taking the left leg for a ride. You can drive it wherever you'd like. And then before we leave this one, place the right foot back on the ground. Cross the back of the left thigh on the front of the right thigh. Just like you're sitting in a chair, let the left leg hang and relax. Begin to draw the right thigh in towards your navel center as far as you can go comfortably. Maybe your tailbone lifts, that's fine. Or you can keep the low back long, keeping tailbone on the ground. I prefer that. My low back likes it better, but a lot of people you'll see lifting the buttocks up. Either way, find where you want to position the left leg to get a nice easy stretch through that left outer hip. And then take your right foot back down to the ground. See if you want to just let your left heel rest somewhere on the right thigh to hold this position. And then you can really let everything go. Making any adjustments with your hands. So as you slide the left heel closer to your hip crease, you might feel a little more stretch through that left outer hip. But you're in control of that dial button. You can turn the sensation up or down. If your breath is unrestricted and flowing easily, you know that you found a good spot to hang out. A few more easeful breaths in and out. Sometimes one side was tighter and a little bit grumpier. You may notice that. Uncross that left leg, take the foot to the ground. We're going to take a full body stretch, or what I call a full body yawn. So think of when you wake up in the morning and you yawn, take your arms overhead, reach your legs long, full body all the way. Notice how your back arches away from the floor, and as you breathe out, let it all go. Let everything land. And then we'll get a hold of the strap. The last little bit here, we're going to do a little calming stretching for the legs. So this doesn't so much fall into balance or strengthening, but we also find differences in the amount of flexibility in one side versus the other. So that's where we're going with this. So starting with feet on the ground, plus it hopefully will feel good. Good way to finish. Feet on the ground, and we'll start with the right leg. Keep your left foot on the ground. Draw your right leg into your body, and the reason why I like using straps is because you want to be able to put the strap around the heel, if that's available to you. Put it on the heel, and we want to find a straight leg. So if we don't have a strap, what normally happens is we're here and we can't straighten the leg. So I want you to extend out and forward so you can find that nice long leg without locking the right knee, soft knee. Remember what it felt like to be standing on your right leg. So it's about that amount of engagement. And then using the strength of your arms, begin to slowly bring that right leg up. So not bending the knee, so you may have to stop here, depends on your hamstrings. Go as far as you can. Push the heel into the strap and the back of your right hip into the earth, so you're lengthening through the heel and the hip. If it's better to take both straps into one hand, that's fine too. But imagine reaching up with the heel and down with the hip, so you're lengthening from both ends. And then if you'd like to benefit from a little stretch to the front of the left hip crease, extend that left leg out. Feel the whole back line of the right leg opening up wherever you've chosen to be. Body fully supported. Toes can be soft. And something you can play with is if you slightly internally rotate your thighs, so turn your toes towards the center of the body, that will give you a little bit different stretch line. You can also slightly externally rotate the toes. Externally rotate the thigh. So this is a straight leg stretch for just that right leg. And I know in yoga we often open up the back line, typically like in a standing forward fold or seated forward fold, so we're doing both legs at the same time. I really prefer to do one at a time because they respond differently. My two legs, one is a lot tighter in the backside than the other. So then we're going to do two more stretches here. We're going to do the inner thigh and outer hip. So if you haven't done it, please put both straps into your right hand. Let your right elbow find the ground. We're going to slide the left heel up towards your tailbone and let that leg open up like a half of a butterfly or Baddha Konasana. And then slowly begin to take your right leg out to the side, a little at a time. So imagine your toes, your right toes are drawing towards your right shoulder, but you're opening out to the side where you find a nice, simple, but nice, easeful stretch in that inner right thigh. If you find it's pulling on your knee at all, on the knee joint, come out. Or the other thing you can do is do that little bit of internal rotation of the thigh. So you want to feel the muscle, the connective tissue, not so much in the joint itself. So we want to be cautious of the inner knee area and the sits bone. You can slide your elbow out for more support. And you're also sensing you're getting a nice stretch in the inner left thigh. The other reason I like to take this position of the left leg is it keeps the pelvis stable. So both sides, your hips and the back of the side of the body are on the ground. Slowly letting it open up. And just enjoy for 10 more rounds of breath. Let yourself enjoy that sense of asymmetry. Both inner thighs opening up, but different positions for the legs. When you're ready to come out, think of your inner thighs like a pair of scissors. Begin to hug your inner thighs. So we want to engage them. Hug your inner thighs like you're squeezing a ball together. You're going to come onto the big toe side of the left foot, bringing it up slowly. And we have one more we're going to do. We'll give the right hand a little rest and take the strap into the left hand. This one with your left foot on the ground, tip into the big toe side of the left leg. So you're internally rotating the left leg. And then again, pressing through your heel, try to find that straight line through the right leg without locking the knee. And slowly take the right leg out to the left. If you find your left thigh is getting in the way, you can lengthen it out, but just try to, what we're not doing is we're not actually twisting, we're just trying to stretch this outer hip that we use, some of those muscles, right? So I'm not going all the way over and lifting the right hip off the ground. I'm going to keep the back of the pelvis on the ground. See if I can just find that, the area we call the IT band and the TFL. I have a whole video on that, tension fasciculata. But right out there, that sensitive part, you can take your right hand, make a J out of your thumb and index finger, and gently draw that forward like you're lengthening that hip towards the front of your mat. Draw your right toe, big toe, towards your left ear. So there, or if you want, so for me, more comfort means I can almost rest the back of my right thigh on my left thigh with that left leg bent, and enjoy. Nice, easy cleansing breaths. And then just release the strap, bend your right knee. Feel free to keep your legs crossed or uncrossed and make some circles. So if it feels better to do it like this, you can. I like to keep them crossed. Just playful circles. Your head can circle too, keeping the neck relaxed. And then both feet back to the floor. Take both legs long though. And just pause for a moment, the magical moment, and feel the two sides of your body. Specifically from the toes to the hip, can you sense any difference between the right and left? This is when our brain gets to remap us. It feels the inside differently, even though from the outside it looks the same. And then we'll do those yummy stretches on the other side. So begin to bend your knees, place your feet on the floor. Find your strap, and we'll put the strap around the heel, right on that calcaneus. We love that heel bone. Keep it strong, push it in there, and begin to extend the leg out long. So take the bend out by pushing forward as opposed to coming straight up, because that's hard to do. So get it long first, and then use the strength of your arms like you're reeling in a big fish. I live on a lake, right? So I like water analogies. Slowly lift that leg up. And as you bring the heel up towards the sky and the hip into the ground, think of pushing the left thigh bone slightly forward. Just the right amount of sensation through the back of the left leg. And if we push into the heel and the hip, what we're doing then too is we're encouraging the left quadriceps, the front of the thigh, to engage. So this is an active stretch, not passive but active. By engaging the front of the thigh, we give the back of the thigh more permission to stretch. And if you want to get a nice little bit of sensation through the top of the right thigh, you can extend the right leg out. Just let it fall, let the back of the knee and the back of the thigh fall into the ground. Breathe and feel. Might be in your calf, might be in your thigh. You can play with turning the thigh bone inward a little bit, toes inward for that internal rotation, or outward, external rotation. See yourself reaching the heel towards the sky and the hip into the ground. You're lengthening the leg out. Notice if you can feel the top of the left thigh, or especially around the kneecap, above the kneecap, slightly engaged. breathing and being. And then we're going to be taking this out to the side. So feel your right foot, slide your right heel towards your buttocks, and just let the hip fall open. So if it needs to be further away, that's up to you. Where is that right leg comfortable? Switch both straps into the left hand if you have two straps. Stabilize through your shoulders. Your left elbow can come down to the ground. It's like a kickstand supporting that leg. Very slowly bring the leg out a little. Right, my joke is that there's a half an inch between heaven and hell in any yoga pose. So take your time. We want to have sensation without strain, particularly in the joints. We don't want it at the sits bone or in the inner knee, but feeling the length of the inner thigh muscle. But you're still active. You're pushing the heel into the strap. You might take a little of that internal rotation if it's too much into the knee. Letting your right thigh fall open so we can feel like we're keeping some weight in the right hip as well. We're not rolling onto that left hip. This is a good place too for pelvic floor breathing. We're letting the pelvic floor stretch out as you breathe in. You might feel that gentle recoil of the pelvic floor muscles as you breathe out, like they're coming towards your navel center. A very natural occurrence in our body when everything's working as it should. One more round of breath there. And then feel your inner thighs like a pair of scissors and hug those thighs together very slowly. So using strength. The muscles are still long, but you're engaging them long, bringing them together very slowly. And then you can walk your right foot out a little bit. Let your inner right knee fall towards the center of the mat, so onto the big toe side of the right foot. Switch the straps into the right hand. Slowly begin to take the left leg across to the right. See if you can find that really that wanting area. Usually we have a wanting area. It wants your attention in that outer left hip. And you might use your thumb and index finger on that left hand to slide the hip forward. Again, I like to rest the back of my left thigh on my right thigh. And in this method too, both legs are in internal rotation. But if you prefer to take your right leg long because it's in the way, you can do that. We're just trying not to roll all the way onto the right hip. So keep the back of the left hip on the ground. Reach out through the heel and then plant the left hip. If you want to feel more, think of bringing the left big toe towards your right shoulder or ear, but lengthening the left hip towards the front of your mat. So away from your ears. Breathing and being. See if you can remember what this felt like on the first side. Is it in the same place? Different? Is there more or less sensation, more of a dullness? When we're ready to release, just let go of the strap. Softly bend your left knee. I like to keep the left leg crossed on the right and draw the legs in and make some circles, but you can also uncross and do the same. Wiggling the ankles, they were strapped down for a while. And then our final space of that lovely symmetrical rest we call Shavasana. So feel free to take your legs out long unless there's another position you prefer. Maybe ending in that full body yawn, reaching as long as you can, lengthen your bones and your muscles. Engage, squeeze the muscles to the bones, tighten everything up. You can even do that in your face. Tighten everything up. Push through your heels, the balls of the feet. Remember how long and strong your legs were when you were standing. Recreate that effect when you're lying down. And then next time you take a breath out, breathe out the mouth and just feel your body land on the ground. Make any adjustments, maybe wiggling your legs side to side, jelly rolling the arms. This practice focused mostly on the legs. So you could offer your legs some love just by staying present in the space from the toes to the hips. If any specific areas are drawing your attention, just go there and notice. Say hello without getting caught in any stories. See what presents itself to you. We breathe into what we feel. And we breathe out and just ask the sensations, the stories, to release and let go. Please feel free to stay in the sacred space of your body as long as you'd like. I encourage you to stay there longer. I hope you enjoyed this practice and know that asymmetry in our body is not equal to pain or discomfort or problems. Doesn't have to be. And if we have a curious and playful attitude towards those imbalances, it's a nice way to reprogram the brain and find more balance and find more strength and all those things that we look for as we mature. Thank you again for joining me, especially to my Patreons and those that donate to me. Keep praying for peaceful solutions for Ukraine. Peace, joy, love, and light.